I was planning on making a collaborative text editor which will use WebSocket and everything for connection and buffers for adding text. So I was first of all reading this editor article because I thought of getting familiar with the approach and what to do and what not to do, since this is a new topic for me. So basically, let's get on with the reading part. So primitives like a text editor. Before delving into collaborative text editor, let's understand what the text editor actually is. A text editor provides an interactive interface for editing text, typically supporting features such as cursor movement, text selection, copy paste, and various other formatting options. So basically, we can add text, we can hover around the text using cursor movement. We can select a part of text and copy paste new text and add new text, add text or remove text. At the core of the text editor is typically a data structure that represents the text content. These data structures allow for dynamic and efficient insertion and deletion of character without requiring such as insert or delete. The text editors translate these actions into low-level operations on the underlying data structure. For example, when a character is typed, the editor inserts it at the current cursor position by updating the data structure accordingly. Similarly, deleting a character involves removing it from the data structure. Okay. To support more complex operations, text editor often use additional data structures. These operations are used in implementing features like undo, redo, search and replace, syntax highlighting, code completion, and other advanced editing functionalities. To understand what these operations looks like, let's take an example. This diagram represents a basic depiction of a text editor function. Okay, what are the challenges associated with multi-user text editing? Conflict resolution. One of the main challenges is managing. In a collaborative settings, users expect the edits to be applied immediately, similar to the responsiveness of single-user text editing. Achieving this real-time experience requires efficient handling and processing of each of operations to provide smooth interactions for all participants. Synchronization across multiple users. Maintaining synchronization of the shared content across multiple users is a significant challenge. When a new user joins the editing session, they need to maintain the current state of the text, including all the modifications made by the other users. Likewise, any changes made by one user must be propagated and updated for all users in real time. Collaborative text editors overcome the challenge of multi-user text editing by employing a range of techniques to enable real-time Okay, so this article will take some time to read. I was actually thinking of making some sort of progress with regard to the coding part. So let's making a coding a text editor. Okay, so this is an instruction booklet that shows you how to build a text editor in C. The text editor is anti-res kilo with some changes. It contains about 1000 lines of C in a single file with no dependencies, and it implements all the basic features you expect in a manual text editor, as well as syntax highlighting and a search feature. This booklets walk you through building the editor in 184 steps. So let's get on with the setup part, because I have everything I need, but I'm gonna use Go for this, and the version I'm using is Go version. Where is it, man? Where is it? And the version I'm using is Go latest version 1.23. If you're gonna ask what's new in Go 1.23, Go 1.23 announcement, and changes, release notes. This much is new. I don't know what to do with that. I have this installed, so okay. So what I was thinking of setting up my things first of all. So first of all, let's make a Git repo for this. Making a Git repo, right? I should make a new one. Rather than making a new one, I will just use this one because it's getting stale. The idea was making a remote code editor, but I will modify this. First of all, rename this. Okay. Text editor. Now go to my documents, projects, and so text editor, text editor, go back. Okay, now add a oh go to my text editor, open it, then try to add main dot cpp, not c main dot c here. Okay, now if I try to open this main dot c, let's take a while to update this which has not this one. Go here, paste it here, then no. First of all, include this stdio. I was thinking of writing a hello world program by myself, but this told me to how to do it. Doesn't matter. I will do it nonetheless. Hello. Return 0. So if we try to go to gcc main.c, then everything is working fine. And say you have to put all your executable code inside function. The main function in C is C++. It is the default starting point where you run a program, when you return from. Okay. Alongside everything here, I'm thinking of making the text editor here as well. So what I will do is I'll go to the text editor. mkdir text editor, go text editor, go mod init, github.com Vivek UB 3424 text editor, go. Same likewise here I will create a main.go for this one. Now things get interesting. Create panel for this one and create a new window for the core. So I'll open the Go port here, and similarly I'll open the C port here. In order to keep everything new, I will write the hello world for here as well. So func main fmt dot, what should we do? Println, right? Hello world. Now let's go to build it. Go run main.go hello world. Good. Now this one is telling me to make file, but I don't care about it. Let's go. I'll make it later on if I want to. I'm good for now. Okay, so entering raw mode. Raw. Let's try and read key presses from your user. The lines you need to add are highlighted and marked with arrows. Thank you for telling me that. So basically I'm including a uni stdh. So what does uni stdh mean in C? Yeah. Okay. In C and C++ programming languages, UniSTDS is the name of the header file that provides access to POSIX operating system API. Okay. C by example uni stdh. Okay, for instance, this includes Unix and Unix-like operating systems such as GNU variants, which I'm using, compilers like GCC and LLVM. On Unix-like system, the interface defined by UniSTDH is typically made up of largely syscall wrappers like fork, pipe, IO operations. Okay, like read, write, close. Yeah, I know this. Unix compatibility layers such as Cygwin and MintKW also provide their own version of UniSTDH. Okay. So what do I have in this? Crypt, data encryption, encrypts a 64-bit message. Alarm, schedules an alarm signal, wait for a signal. Okay, so on and so forth. What I also need is UniSTDH for Golang. Let's not get inside the rabbit hole. Okay, let's do it one by one. First of all, let's go to the C package. right? Then include this uni stdh. Why haven't I turned on the relative number? Yeah, much better. Now if I go to 3J, delete this line and then insert our call, which was, what was that? I have to call the uni stdh for, right. This takes a file descriptor. So file descriptor, okay, so what are file descriptors in C? A file descriptor is an unsigned, is it clashing out? A file descriptor is an unsigned integer, used by a process to identify an open file. So basically this is like a pointer to the location where I have opened my file, my text editor and whatnot. Okay, the number of file descriptor available to a process is limited by the open max control in the sys limits. Okay, nice. So basically I'm using a read called stdn file number. So first of all, before that, I'm creating a character. So before all this, I need to create a character C and initialize the garbage value. Then while read is like read n bytes. Okay, read is like it takes some kind of size value. It has a signature of file descriptor, then the buffer, then the size of the buffer, if I'm correct. Read n bytes into the buffer from file descriptor. Okay, the file descriptor would be a file open, and this will read n bytes from that current one. Read the return the number read -1 for errors or 0 for error of file. This function is a cancellation point and therefore should not be marked with throw. I don't know what that means, but nonetheless I will do file number, read the file descriptor for the stream. The stream would be our standard input. Okay, so file number, return the file system file descriptor for the stream. Cool. So if I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong, this would be standard input, I think. Yeah, and the buffer would be our character. Since one character contains 1 bytes only, so the size of the buffer will be this much. So while this is going on, I will do what? I will just return. I will do this thing like a caveman. I will do %c percentage sure, not percentage, and pound c. Yeah, if I am correct, if this line is reading from the standard input 1 character at a time, this will print a pound b dot pound c pound, something like this. So only one way to tell. Let's open the terminal and just tryna do this thing, main.c. okay, and then calling this fellow h jk opctm, but it's okay. So what do I need to do? I need to do like this, but again the problem I'm having is the buffer gets expired after every new line read, like this, and if like this. Okay, cool. This thing is good, but let's see what I can do to improve it. So it's reading from the standard input and returning with the file. But since I am not flushing, I shouldn't flush the standard input. Yeah, I'm not doing it. Is the system call changing for every time I'm doing this? Let's try to do that as well. Printf. Okay. Oh, get the %t or %p. There isn't any %p. I am correct. File number of standard input. Terminal. This is a main.c. This is not being on. Okay. Okay, so this is not working. This is not giving me the thing which I want to have. Let's see what this has done. Okay, so read and standard file number came from the uni yesterday. We are asking the read syscall wrapper to read 1 byte from the standard input into a variable C, and to keep doing it until there are no more bytes to read. Okay, read returns the number of bytes that it can read and will return 0 when it reaches the end of the file. When you run kilo, your terminal gets hooked up to the standard input, and so your keyboard input gets read into CLab. However, by default, your terminal starts in canonical mode, also called cooked mode. In this mode, keyboard input is only sent to a program. Oh, so by default, our terminal gets started into cooked canonical mode. In this mode, the keyboard input is sent into the program when the user presses enter. This is useful for many programs. It lets the user type in a line of text using backspace to fix errors until they get their text exactly the way they want it, and finally press enter to return it, to send it. Okay, then press enter to send it to the program. So that only when we press the enter key, the input of our gets piped into the standard input stream. But it does not work well for program with more complex UIs. Like text editor, we want to process each key press as it comes in, so we can respond to it immediately. What we want is a raw mode. Unfortunately, there is no simple switch you can flip to set the terminal to raw mode. Raw mode is achieved by turning off a great many flags in the terminal. To press our program, press Ctrl D to tell that it's reached the end of this. Okay, end of the file, or you can press Ctrl C to signal the process terminate immediately. Press to demonstrate how canonical mode works. We will have the program exit when it reads the Q key press from the user. Okay, not doing this. Okay. We can set a terminals attribute by 1 using a tc get attribute to read the current attribute into a struct. Turn off echoing. Okay, so we can set a terminals attribute by 1. Okay, we can set terminals attribute by these many options. First is getting the tc get attribute to read the current attribute into a struct. Second, we can modify the struct by hand. Third, we can pass the modified struct into the tc get attribute to write the new terminal attributes back. Okay, let's try turning off the echo features this way. So basically, I'm just gonna copy this function for now and see what it does. Then I'll see what can I do to understand this. So if I am right here, 5k, go here and then include the terminal one, terminals.h. Yeah. What do more I have to do? I have to enable raw mode. I have to write a function called enable raw mode, which will take into a struct termios raw. So basically, I'm gonna write here enable raw mode, and this will take into a struct term iOS raw. Then I'm gonna do tc get attribute, standard import file number and then raw. Okay. tc get attribute. I don't understand what does this function do. So tc get attribute. See, man, this is too much. 1.5 and more to do. Oh yeah, tc get attribute gets the parameters associated with the terminal. So okay, parameters associated with the terminal are being supplied by term iOS. So term iOS in iOS.h in C. Okay, term iOS.h define values for term iOS. Okay. Bro, the term iOS.h header file contains the, let me go there then. I'm gonna go to the code part of this one. Compatible term iOS for old struct iOS.ctl. Okay, so go to definition. Okay, so basically I'm having a, what do they call it? What is the meaning of this? If and def. What is if and def in C? If and of directory. If and def is a directory.
According to educative.io, the hashtag ifndef directive.
Yeah, you have words. The if and def directory is one of the widely used directives in C. It allows conditional compilations. During the compilation process, the preprocessor is supposed to determine if any provided macros exist. Okay, so basically I'm trying to do here is basically if term iOS.h exists, then I'm gonna execute this part. Okay, so term iOS.h is supposed to one include features.h, xopen, include term iOS.h. Again, gets the system dependent definition of term iOS, tc flag, cct, speed t, and all the macros specifying the flag bits. Good. Define cc eq val c. C is equals to val is not equals to POSIX v disable. How much is this? Extern. Not very intuitive, this code. So again, never include directly use term iOS.h. Never include, okay, got it. Never include directly use term iOS.h. Instead. Basically, C flag pet meaning. B0 goes to this, B1, B6, B100. I don't know, man, what they're telling me to do. This much only. Where is the raw coding part, man? Whatever, just go to where I was. Term iOS.h. Header file contains the definitions shared by the terminal IO interfaces. CCT, speed T, TC flag T used for terminal modes. Okay, so the above terminal term.io struct is defined and include at least the following members: TC flag, T, C, F flag, C, O0 flag, C, C flag, CL flag, CCC, and other things. Okay. All of this I'm not able to understand. Too much information in such a short time. Which one was that? TC get interrupt. Okay. TC get attribute gets the parameter associated with a terminal. The file dash. What is file dash? Struct termios p. Okay. Pointer to the termios struct I'm using that shall get the parameter associated with a terminal referred by files file dash. Standard input file number. Okay, so I need to know more about this one, but not VS Code. Standard input file number. Yeah, about this fellow. FF. Go to definition. Standard input, standard file descriptor, standard input file number. So standard output file number like this and like that. UniSTD, too much of this thing. Standard input file number. Get the environment definitions from Unix 98 if used. All functions are not declared anywhere. I'd rather go back to my code part, wherever it was. So what does this do? Put the state of file descriptor into termios.p. Just do this. Yeah, I thought that wouldn't work. Never mind. So struct TC attribute file number raw. Then I am getting the flag of echo. I'm passing this address. So basically raw.c L flag L presidente. I'm getting the address of our echo thing, na? So tell oh. Okay. A short thing I want to do is never mind. TC set attribute TC plus TC set attribute. Okay, TC set attribute standard input file number and TCA flush and here raw page of region libraries. Sorry, I was just curious about some other thing. So struct tc get interrupt standard file import raw.c flag gets the echo tc set attribute file name. Okay, So this much code I have written. We can set the terminals attribute by using tcget attribute to read the current attribute into a struct, modify the struct and pass the modified struct into the tcset attribute. Yeah, this much is correct. I'm modifying the attributes of a terminal to write a new terminal attribute. Let's try returning off the echo feature this way. Turning off the echo feature. Pro. Okay. So it has been mentioned here. Struct term iOS tc get attribute set attribute echo tca flush. The echo feature causes each key you type to be printed to the terminal so you can see what you are typing. Oh my god! This is used in canonical mode but really gets in the way when you are trying to render a user's input in raw mode. So we turn it off. This program does the same thing as the one in the previous step, so it doesn't print what you're typing. You may be familiar with this mode if you ever had it. You type password at a terminal when you're using sudo, for example. After the program quits, depending on your shell, you will find your terminal is still not echoing what you write. Don't worry, it will still listen to what you type. Just press Ctrl C to start a fresh line of input and type in reset and then enter. This resets your terminal back to normal. Failing that, you can always restart your terminal emulator. Okay, so there was a fundamental question I have in my mind, like the difference between shell terminal and terminal emulator. Oh, GFG has got me covered. So basically, whenever we hear of these things like terminal emulator, I just get confused. So terminal is a text input and output environment. Shell is what? Shell is a command line. Man, GFG. Bro, wrong endeavor. So where was I? I was somewhere after it. Okay. We'll fix this problem. Terminal attributes can be read into term iOS struct by tc get attribute. After modifying them, you can then apply them to the terminal using tc set attribute. The tcf plus argument specify whatever. Yeah, the CL flag field is for local flags. A comment in macOS's term iOS.h Skybase as a dumping ground for two other states. So perhaps it should be sorted with miscellaneous flag. The other flags are input flag, output flag, control flag, local flag, all of which we'll have to modify to enable raw mode. Echo is a bit flag. Echo is a bit flag. Okay, describe as okay. The value of the flag is this. We can use the bitwise not operator on this value to get within bitwise and this value with the field flags, which then forces the bro too much. So don't skip like that. So echo is a bit flag defined as binary. We use the bitwise not operator on this value to get this much value within bitwise and this value with the field flags, which forces the fourth bit in the flag field to become 0. Okay, so within bitwise and this value with the flags field, which forces the fourth and causes a disable raw mode at exit. Let's be nice to the user and restore their terminal original attributes when our program exits. We'll save a copy of term iOS iOS. Man, I use iOS. What is iOS? iOS. I mean, I have heard of this term iOS. iOS, oh, Mac. Yeah, this is for Apple. iOS kernel name, I think. Android kernel name. What is it? What it is? Linux. Linux. So disable the raw mode and exit. Let's be nice to the user. Disable their terminal's original attribute whenever programs exits. We will save a copy of the term iOS struct in its original state and use the tcset attribute to apply it to the terminal when the program exits. Okay. We'll save a copy. Okay, we need to do that actually to like make it as it was before. So why do we need standard library now? I'm confused. Never mind. Just write it here. Include stdlib.h struct term iOS original term iOS. Yeah, we need to do that. So struct term iOS original term iOS, and then void disable raw mode. Well, yeah, void. Rather than writing it here, it would be much beneficial if I write here void disable raw mode tc set attribute. So let me write it from a memory. tc set attribute for the input stream. Wait for the other stream to get first. Then I will just make it as it was before with the original term iOS. Now, when I'm trying to change this, I need to take care of that thing as well. So tc get attribute standard input, and this shall be CIW or bro. So I was thinking of what happened. CIF this much. I erased everything. CF right. So it was original term iOS terminal iOS. Included header is not used directly. Okay, yeah, maybe I will use it later on. AT exit disable raw mode. Really? What is the meaning of this? AT exit register the call to be called when exit is called. Register a function to be called when exit is called. Reference. Do this. This would be called when exit is being called. Disable. Why is it getting registered? Disable raw mode. Call this, And I was thinking of making a raw as a copy of original term IS. Passing void to a parameter of incompatible type. What? It does the calling itself. Everything is fine and all. AAT exit comes from the standard lib. We use it to register our disable raw mode function to be called automatically when the program exits. Whether it exits by running from main or by calling the exit function, this way we can ensure that we will leave the terminal attributes the way we found them when our program exits. So that's that for now. I'm gonna take a break and maybe continue this thing tomorrow. So, yeah, goodbye.